Okay guys, so this lesson is called solving trigonometric equations. So you're going to be using methods that you have used in lots of other equations to solve. So you may have to factor, you may need to move, constants to one side and variables to the other. Like all these things that you've been learning in algebra sort of lead up to much more complicated equations. So let's take a look at what some of these look like. First thing, they have to tell you where you are going to be finding your answers, right? So for this particular variable, right, I'm solving for x, I can only look between 0 and 2 pi, which means I'm only allowed to go around this unit circle once looking for answers. Okay, so let's take a look. I am trying as much as I can to isolate the sign of x. So I've got some things in the way. I've got this 4 in the way, I've got this square in the way. So I'm going to solve this the way I normally would any other equation. I'm going to divide both sides by 4. All right, and again, if you had this being x squared equals 1/4, you would take the square root. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take the square root of both sides, and I get sine of x equals plus or minus 1/2. Right? The square root of 1 is 1, square root of 4 is 2. So all I have to do now is go around this unit circle once, looking for places where the sine value is 1/2. And notice I need my answer in radians. This was given in radians. My answer here will be in radians. So as I'm coming around, here's a sine value of 1/2. So one of my answers is pi/6. Coming around, here's another 1/2. That would be 5 pi/6. Coming around, here's a negative 1/2. So this one is 7 pi/6. All right, and again, swinging around, there's my final negative 1/2 value. This is 11 pi/6. Okay, so it is possible to have multiple answers. Again, you may want your unit circle nearby to refer to. Okay, so let's try another one. Okay, so at first this might look slightly intimidating because there's a lot of stuff going on. Some of the cosines are squared, some of them are not. But if this equation was in front of you, you wouldn't be intimidated at all, right? You know how to factor that, right? To factor this, you'd figure out, okay, so what multiplies to be 4, what adds to be -5? I believe that would be -4 and 1. You divide by that leading coefficient, right? And then you reduce and you write these from bottom to top. All right, and then you could double check that. So if you can factor this, then you can factor this. It factors the exact same way. In fact, I'm not even going to refactor it. I'm going to take this answer, and wherever there was an x, I'm going to replace it with a cosine of x. So I've got 2 cosine x minus 1 times, and of course, while I'm videoing, I'm going to make a mistake. Cosine x minus 2 equals 0. Okay, now going back to this. If this equaled 0, you would take this and set it equal to 0 and get 1/2. You would take this, set it equal to 0 and get 2. You do the same thing here. Here, if I solve this, I get the cosine of x equals 1/2. And here, if I get the cosine of x equals 2. Now, I'm looking for x values that are within one rotation about the circle. And I'm looking at this one. And as much as I'm looking and I'm trying, there is no cosine value that is 2. The highest value you can ever get is a 1. So this one has no solution. That particular section, that little piece, has no solution. But this one definitely does. All right? If you're looking at the cosine values, cosine is 1/2 here. Cosine is also 1/2 here. So my two answers are pi/3 and 5 pi/3. All right, let's try another. All right, again, we're looking for answers between 0 and 2 pi. So I'm going to divide this equation both sides by 2. Cosine of x is rad3/2. And then if I look on my unit circle, the cosine value is rad3/2 here and here. All right, there are 2 of them where it's positive. So the two answers are pi/6 and 11 pi/6. All right, and I think this is my last example. Here we go. I'm going to solve this equation as if it was just, it's a regular equation. It just happens to have a cosine in it. So I'm going to add 1 to both sides and divide by 2. Cosine squared x equals 1/2. I'm going to take the square root of both sides. cosine x equals plus or minus 1 over rad 2. And if I rationalize that, I get plus or minus rad 2 over 2. So again, I'm going around the unit circle. I'm looking for all the different angles where cosine, right, the x value is either positive rad 2 over 2 or negative rad 2 over 2. Unfortunately, this one that I printed out doesn't have it rationalized, but you, at this point, I hope you know this. It happens here, it happens here, it happens here, and it happens here. Okay, so let me write those 4 answers. They are pi over 4, 3 pi over 4, 5 pi over 4, and 7 pi over 4. All right, I am available for office hours if you have questions. Thanks for watching.